McDougall here today with the Martial Arts of Money, coming at another book review. Michael Lewis, The Big Short. In my last book review, I covered Michael Lewis's Liar's Poker. Michael Lewis is I don't know what to call him, he's like a finance writer. He writes about business, but about cool topics, like Inside the Solomon's Brother. This one is about, technically, basically, a roadmap of in 2008 when the credit default swaps and the stock market crash happened, which was huge. So this is basically almost, best way that I can describe this is a textbook of what actually happened. Yeah, you can watch the movie The Big Short. So I read this book years before the movie The Big Short came out. It was that good of a book that they made it into a movie. The movie was great, but the problem with movies is that you don't get into the fine details, okay? This goes into like what a credit default swap actually is. Do you know what a CDO is? You probably don't. I read the book, and I'm still not technically 100% sure what it is. I don't also care because the thing is, when you're getting down to that level of detail about learning about something, you got to remember, right? And for me, I don't like remembering things. I only like knowing things. So credit default swaps, basically you have all these mortgages and then you rank them on what's the riskiest ones to fail. And then they would repackage these mortgages. They would pull them together, package them, and get like, there's like a rating, I forget what it's called, the rating insurance company. They would rate these packages, and they all gave bulletproof ratings, even though the products were not bulletproof. And it was just basically fraud, corruption, and at the biggest level. Like it just, and me as an accountant and studying business and money for almost 2 decades now, I understand what money does to men and the greed it does to us as humans. So these kind of things don't surprise me, like Enron, when all that happened. We're not going to get into that because that's out of the context of this, but it doesn't surprise me. It's actually know the rules, the martial arts of money, know the rules. I got to make up a rule for this one. It's like basically something like money will bring out the most evil in men. Now, it doesn't have to bring out the most evil in you, but it will bring out the most evil in men, in human. Okay? So don't try to fight it and like, oh, Donald Trump is corrupt and this guy's corrupt and he's evil. Well, everyone's just trying to get their own way, pave their own path. It's a pretty tough world everybody's struggling, grinding, fighting, trying to get their money, their pay. They all want a nice home, happy wife, happy life, kids, school, hockey skates, whatever, right? All this stuff costs money. So you only have so much time. So that's kind of the herd of how we go to. So for me, I accept the rules. So in this book, and then when these guys, they got bailed out, all these banks crashed. So let me back up and focus on the book. So in the book, one thing I like about Michael Lewis is he talks about an issue, then communicates it from different perspectives. So this book was very, very, very interesting, about how a couple guys out of their garage saw what was happening, and they were totally against everything. And nobody predicted this would happen, the stock market crash. So, but it did, and people made an insane amount of money from it, and people lost a lot of money. Millions of people lost their homes, caused so much turmoil, and then even when the banks went under, the government bailed them out. It's like, just tell you about the level of corruption. So these bank companies and people, they can They're for-profit enterprises, pure greed, sharks of the sharks. We're talking like hundreds of millions of dollars. At this level, like, these are absolute money ninjas. It's total war when you read this kind of stuff, what's going on in the investment bank world. It's dog eat dog. It's absolutely crazy. It's fascinating is what it is. So yeah, Michael Lewis, 5 stars out of 5. This book was very hard to read for me because I don't read books and just like skim through them. I was actually understanding, and I remember taking notes in this book and actually writing out on a big white piece of paper about what technically was happening to make sense out of it for me when I studied accounting and finance and stuff. I would have to read, draw out, do some math examples, and I was doing that for this book. So I actually read this as a textbook because, like, what the F happened, man? And I also, I was emotionally involved in this because at the time I lost my entire fortune. I lost $30,000. I was 26 years old. Everything I worked for. I grew up in a small city, man. Limited opportunities. $30,000 for a 26-year-old. After I paid for school, after I paid for my chartered accountant stuff. That's a lot of money, man. Someone just trying to, make his way. Lost all my money, and I didn't know why. I knew it was macroeconomics. I know what macroeconomics was, but I didn't realize how much it could affect your investment portfolio. So really, I didn't lose a lot of money compared to people losing their homes, millions of dollars. People's RSPs got just wiped away like fortunes. Like, I'd like to actually interview some people of, lost money and made money from 2008. But this book was a way for me to understand why I lost $30,000 when I walked in to, I did, I think about 60, pretty sure it's around 63 stock trades. And I did well. Like, I did well. Like, the numbers were going good. I was trading oil on a daily basis. And anyways, this was a way for me to figure out why I lost money. What's the angle that I missed? Okay, boom, you took a hit, lost all your money. But what were the problems? How do you make that not happen again? And this was the only literature out there at the time about the 2008 stock market crash. So there was no books or news. Like, when you listen to news, you listen to some guy on the news with I want someone's opinion, right? I want to read the information and make the decision myself. So we'll wrap up this 7-8 minute book review. Hopefully you got some kind of value out of what I said. If you're interested in reading this book, it is a good read. However, in my opinion, it's a little outdated, obviously, because it's 2016, and when was this book written? But Michael Lewis has got a new book out. It's called Flash Boys. It covers the investment banking world, but this is old news now. Credit default swaps, it's gone. It's just a product. Mortgages at one time were a new product, right? Insurance was a new product. Credit default swaps, kind of old news. I'm not saying it's not important, there's not money there, but his other book, Flash Boys, talks about high frequency trading. That's insane. That's next level. So the whole point, and why I've dedicated a lot of my life to money and came with the martial arts of money, is because it keeps evolving. Martial arts keeps evolving, right? Mixed martial arts from now to 10 years ago, totally different game. And the money game just keeps changing. It's always innovating. So staying ahead, things are getting faster, numbers are getting bigger. The world's changing. So for me, this is very exciting. It's a very exciting time. One of my good friends, he's got a PhD from Wharton University in financial economics. And when this was going on and I was reading this book, this is a fascinating time to be in finance. So, any questions? Let me know. Thanks for the email so far and a couple comments. Take care and enjoy your day and keep crushing your goals. And never quit. Always keep going. Fix one problem at a time. Michael Lewis, The Big Short. Awesome book. Take care.